Good evening, everyone. Happy Transformation Tuesday. Just wait for a few people to jump on here live. How are you? If you're watching the replay, give us a shout out. How are you guys? Hey, Daddy, good to see you here, brother. Good to see you guys. Tonight, we're going to dive deep into how to be a boss at life. This was a pretty epic topic. I thought this was a topic that's probably well overdue. So I thought, let's drop in how to be a boss at life. How do we take our life to the next level and own it with an energy and a presence that's not arrogant, that's not self-righteous, that's not superiority. It's an energy and a presence that is true connection. It's true powerful presence and connection. And how do we be that authority in our life more and more? How do we step into claiming that authority in a beautiful, powerful way? Hey, Daddy. Hey, Katie. Good to see you guys there. And you can see out behind me, connection to self. This is one of the most powerful principles that I want to be sharing with you all here tonight, because when we truly embody connection, and I'm going to drop into more about what does that actually mean, but when we are truly connected to ourself, there's different parts of ourselves. When we're truly connected to the part of ourselves at the soul level, truly connected to the part of us at our core that drives us, that is the ultimate. That's the ultimate place to be stemming from, because we're now not driven by ego. We are now not we're not stemming from a place of judgment. We're not stemming from a place of resistance. We are truly stemming from a place of compassion, of love, and of true connection to self. So let's drop in. How do we stand in authority, and why is this important? Well, standing in your authority is incredibly powerful. When you stand in your authority, you're embodying your essence of who you truly are. You're embodying what you stand for, what your core values are. You're embodying who and what you are at your core. You are bringing forward an authenticity, and you're bringing forward a strength that goes beyond the talk. It goes beyond language. It starts to go beyond body language. It starts to be more of a feeling. And when you're in the presence of someone and you are truly connected, they feel it. They feel you when you're speaking with them. Now, this might sound a little bit strange. It might sound a little bit fluffy dark. However it sounds, what I want to share with you is that when you are truly connected and present in a conversation, when you're coming from your heart space rather than coming from your head, you are communicating with a different energy, and people feel you. People feel the resonance of what you're sharing, the message that you're sharing. Hey, Daddy. Yeah, thank you, brother. So I often get asked by a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners, how do I be more successful at business? And you know what? A lot of business owners are looking for the answer of, I want to be more productive, or I want to be better at sales, I want to be better at marketing, I want to be a better leader, better with my team, and all that kind of stuff. And you know what? All that sort of stuff, it is important. It matters. But it doesn't matter a dime compared to this right here, connection to self. Because you could be the best entrepreneur ever. You could be the most talented, the most productive, the most highly producing. You could even have the most money in the whole entire world. But if you are missing that sense of connection to yourself, if you are not connected if you don't have that present state awareness to who you are and what you are and why you're here, and present and connected to what your mission is, none of that matters, because you're stemming from something that's artificial. You're stemming from something that's inauthentic, stemming from something that's probably being derived out of the ego. And when we truly access connection to self, a true heart space connection in the moment, complete present state awareness, it will blow your mind what you are capable of, because you are tuning into something beyond what you even have, you're getting access to infinite intelligence. You're getting access to something that goes beyond the normal. You're getting access to a deeper part of you. And the more present and the more connected you are, the more guidance you have, and the more tuned in you're going to be to what is the way, what is that strategy, what is that solution that you're looking for. So I would say this is the master skill of any entrepreneur, of any business owner, of anyone in life, is the ability to be truly connected with yourself. Now, when I say connected, it's important that we understand connected to what? Thanks, Daddy. Thanks. Love it, brother. Tap into your inner power. Yeah, this is what it's about. It's about that internal drive. It's that internal spirit. And when I say connected, we're going to say, well, connected to what? We've got to be we can either be connected to ego or we can be connected to our spirit. So if we don't have an understanding of, well, what is the ego and when is it playing out and how is it playing out? How do we know when we're connected to spirit? So we need to start to differentiate and build distinctions and build awareness around, well, when is my ego driving me? Now, sometimes it's very, very subtle. Sometimes it can be the ego is a very cunning beast. The ego can sometimes arise and pretend to be your spirit. So it's like it can pretend, and it can be so, what's the word? Your ego can be very, very clever because it can creep up on you, and it looks like you're viewing your reality through the lens of your spirit, through your heart space, but it's actually your ego playing games on you. And we need to be very, very careful as a professional human being. We need to be distinctly aware of when we are operating out of ego and when we're coming from spirit. Now, the way to know that you're coming from spirit, the way that you know you're truly connected, is your heart is open. You are approaching your life through the lens of love and through compassion and through connectedness, as opposed to coming from a place of ego, which is stemming from a place of judgment. It's stemming from a place of resistance, stemming from a place of fear, from criticism. And the energy that you notice, the energy that you're feeling, you're going to feel it in your body. So when you're truly connected and present and coming from a place of love, it's a feeling. When you're coming from a place of ego, you'll notice fear, resistance, diminishment of others, diminishment of self, diminishment of our reality. So the master skill of anyone who wants to be truly successful, truly conscious, truly consciously aware and present is an awareness of when we're connected to the highest power that exists, which is within us, which is our connection to our spirit. So this is the master skill. So how do we cultivate and how we strengthen that? Well, we first of all need to understand, well, what is the ego and how does the ego play out? So first of all, we need to understand that the ego is a program. It's a legacy program that we've inherited from so long ago. Humans have evolved to have this program of the ego, which used to be necessary, however, is no longer necessary. In the year 2018, we don't need an ego to protect us to survive. The ego was a survival mechanism. The ego is a program that's been loaded onto our system. It's like a software program that is here to keep us safe. It is here to limit us. It is here to box us in and to bound us, to prevent us from expanding. So the ego is like a protection device, but the ego operates out of fear. So whenever you're experiencing the emotion of fear, whenever you're experiencing resistance, or whenever you're judging someone else, whenever you're diminishing someone else or criticizing someone else in a negative way, that's when the ego is operating. Now, obviously we need an ego to give us a human experience. So we can appreciate the ego and say thank you, but I'm not going to buy into it. And the way that we don't buy into it is we recognize when we're stemming from a place of fear, resistance, or judgment. So that's the first distinction we need to understand when we're wanting to come from a place of spirit. So we need to understand these distinctions. Otherwise, if we don't understand the distinctions of when the ego is operating, it's like we're watching our life through the lens of just simply black and white. Literally everything is just black and white. When we become aware of the programs of the ego and the things like limiting beliefs and how particular fears are playing out and resistance and judgment, we get access to a full spectrum of not only color, but also all the other infrared spectrums and all the other spectrums of light that go beyond just color. So our conscious awareness expands because we are now aware of all the programming that's playing out. We are now aware of all the functions and all the dysfunction that we are experiencing as humans. So the awareness of judgment, the awareness of resistance, the awareness of fear, and being truly present and connected to when we are experiencing that, that is the master skill that any entrepreneur, any business owner, any professional human being needs to refine, practice, and turn into a habit and a master skill. Having present, hey Dora, good to see you here. Great to see you here. Having that present state awareness of when we are stemming from spirit and ego, that is the master skill. When we develop and cultivate that skill set, and it is a skill set, it's a skill set that we cultivate and it becomes a habit. When you truly tune in to being connected and recognizing whether I'm coming from spirit or ego, that's when your results, that's when your vibrational frequency, that's when everything in your life goes to the next level. I'll give you some examples. When you're tuned in, you're not in your head. When you're connected, you're resonating, you're integrating, you're coming from a truly connected place. You're not in your head. So you're more natural, you're more connected. Your relationships are going to be more empowered. If you're going through some kind of marketing or sales process and you're stuck in your head, you're going to be clunky as fuck. Whereas when you're coming from your heart space and you're truly connected, people are just going to feel your message. People are going to feel that. They're going to tune into what you've got. So being connected, that is the master skill. And since I've had various degrees of connection in my life, but since I've been truly connected, my whole life has gone to a whole nother level, because I'm now coming from a place of power, of internal guidance, of there's something special that goes beyond words, that goes beyond logic, that goes beyond description, because we're now truly tuned into who and what we are and what we're truly here to do. So this is the master skill that no one ever really taught me when I was first learning personal development. And it's a skill that very rarely, in my experience, not many people are teaching. And it's such a fantastic skill. And this is one of the foundation principles of what I teach now, is true, authentic connection to self. You can probably feel my resonance in my voice right now. You can feel what I'm saying to you because I'm connected, I'm present to what I'm saying to you. So there's a difference if I was in my head versus if I was in my heart. And you're going to notice that because of how you feel when you're in my presence. So this is the big difference. This is the big distinction that I want people to understand and want you guys to really feel into, is when you are connected to something that goes beyond anything you could ever even imagine you are capable of. And this is when we're starting accessing infinite intelligence. We're accessing our own internal guidance. We're accessing us becoming greater than the sum of our parts. So this might sound a little bit abstract and this might sound a little bit woo-woo, but when we're truly connected, we are coming from a place of guidance. We are coming from a place of true authenticity. Now, authenticity, that's one of the master skills. Being connected, heart space communication, connection, relationship. All of business is based on relationships. All of business is based on connection. It's based on trust. And when you are connected from heart space, your trust and your resonance goes through the roof, because people feel you, people understand you, and people can connect with you because they know you're real. You're letting that authenticity shine through. So that's the most important part about this, is authenticity. It's letting your authentic spark shine through. It's getting you out of your head and into your heart. And when you're in your heart space, you're capable of so much more than what you ever even realized. Thank you, Dora. True authentic connection to self. Love it. Yeah. Sorry, Dora, I'm just reading your comment here. When you're still in this space, there are any times when the ego can still pop in? Oh, yes. Oh, definitely, Dora. The ego, this is the thing about the ego. The ego evolves. The ego is a very cunning program. The ego will try and creep up on you. Now, the thing about when you are connected, you can be connected and present. This is the thing. When you're truly connected, your ego doesn't get a look in when you're truly, truly connected, because you are so tuned in, you're not letting the ego rise up. Now, there will be times when you get challenged. There will be times when your connection to self is going to be truly tested. That is when we require present state awareness of what is evolving, what is unfolding within us. So when you become aware of your ego rising, when you become aware of resistance, of judgment, of fear, your skill, which is present state awareness, lets you identify that that is rising, and you can thank it, you can bless it, you can become aware of it, and then you can bring yourself back to authentic connection. Now, in life, we're going to get challenged. You're going to have moments where you're going to get tested to your limit to see how strong that connection is going to be. Because there's going to be people slinging shit at you. There's going to be stuff that goes wrong. There's going to be moments in life where it feels like our world is falling apart. And it's in those moments, that's when we get truly tested. That's when our connection to self is going to be truly, truly tested. And that's the only way that we strengthen our connection, is through our contrasting experiences, is through the challenges, is through the test we strengthen and enhance and upgrade that connection. So yes, when you're truly connected, the ego doesn't get a look in. However, there are going to be times in life where your connection, that is going to be so tested to the brink of your limit. And this is life. This is how life unfolds, is we're going to get tested. This is the training. Life is the ultimate testing and training ground. And just like when you lift heavy weights and when you build your muscle, same thing in life. When we get challenged, when we get tested with experiences in life that are really going to push us to the limit, that's when we start to develop that higher, the most powerful degree of connection with self. So yeah, we're going to get tested and we are going to be challenged. And all the experiences that we experience in life, everything that happens to us in our external reality, is going to reflect back at us all of the internal limitations that we need to move beyond. So anytime we get criticized by someone else, anytime someone says anything about us and we respond or we react, that's a big clue to self. I got some work to do here. I've got some work to do. I'm letting the opinion or the judgment of someone else affect me or wash over me. So that means I need to do some work on myself. I need to do some work at the self-trust, self-love level, self-worth level, such that this doesn't wash over me. So all these contrasting experiences are going to keep happening in life until we deal with it. And this is the beautiful thing about our universe and our reality is, hey, Em, it's good to see you here. Our reality is going to give us contrast after contrast, challenge after challenge. We are going to get tested to the limit until we learn what it is that experience is revealing about ourselves within us that we need to work on. So those experiences are keep going to happening. The fear is going to keep happening until we move beyond it. All of those dysfunctions, all these limiting beliefs, all of the dysfunction in our life and the resistance is going to keep playing out until we do the work on the internal level. And a lot of people are wanting to make their lives perfect. A lot of people are wanting to have everything in their external reality perfectly aligned so that they don't feel any misalignment. Well, that's all well and good, but just like it's kind of like lifting small weights in the gym. If everything in your external reality is perfect, there's no challenge. You're not being tested on how together you are, on how much you've got your shit together. All of the challenges and the degree to which we experience challenge is the degree to which we are going to evolve and consciously expand. So if you've got everything in your life laid out and it's set and it's just really, really easy and there's no challenge, well, I've got news for you. There's no growth. There's no expansion, because your universe and your reality is not going to illuminate your gaps simply because you're not pushing yourself. You're not putting yourself in situations that are challenging enough. So it's like you're lifting a bar with no weights on it. Now, here's the thing about life. The bigger the weights you lift, the more muscle you get, which means you build up resilience, you build up character. So every experience you're going to go through in life where you get tested, where you experience challenge, you experience nearly breaking point, that's your training, that's your conditioning. That is your opportunity to start to strengthen your emotional, spiritual, physical, mental muscle to get through all those challenges in life. So the more challenge you can take on, the more weight you can load your bar up with, the more resilience, the more mental toughness, and the greater the degree of connection to self you're going to sustain, because you know, I've handled that. I've handled the toughest of the tough. I can now make it through anything. So here's the thing. Every time we get a challenging, contrasting experience, a negative emotion, anger, sadness, fear, frustration, that's us getting data and getting information. Okay, I've got some work to do. Great, it's celebrating that. It's really cherishing, great, I've just gotten some information from my external world to tell me that my internal world needs some work. Great, let's do the work. Is it self-worth? Is it self-trust? Is it self-acceptance? Is it moving past resistance? Is it not judging self or not judging others? Is it compassion? What is it? Is it forgiveness? Is it not playing the victim? Is it resilience? Is it deciding to stand in our authority and own our fucking life? Is it the decision to not take on the opinions of others? Is it the decision to take action even when it's hard? Is it the decision to be courageous and bold even when we don't know what the fuck we're doing, but simply we're going to take action simply because it's worth it, because it's so important? So when we come from a truly connected place where we can sense our mission, our vision, our purpose, and everything that we're here to do in this life, when we're truly tuned into that, we will smash through walls. We will move mountains because we are truly tuned into what it is that we are here to do. And so this is the fundamental principle, the core foundational principle that every entrepreneur, every person, every professional human being needs to master. And if they haven't mastered it, then the programs of the ego, judgment, criticism of others, all of these things that would normally phase us when we don't have connection, those are going to get to us. We're going to let all of those things get to us. Whereas when we have that true connection, we can override all of that. It's like connection with self. When we are truly present and connected, and when we're standing in our authority, we can override. It's like the override switch over all the crap that happens and all the illusion, all the illusory programs of the ego and the fears that bubble up. We can overpower that because of our strength and because of our connection. So this relates back to the concept of feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Because when we take action and when we overcome that fear, what we do is we train ourselves. I can trust myself. I've fucking got this. Thanks, Dora. Love it. Thank you. We can train ourselves by taking action in the face of fear. I've fucking got this. I'm going to handle this. And we stand in our authority and we fucking energetically own who we are at our core. Now, this comes from being connected, truly connected to us. And this is something that can't be faked. You can't fake connection to yourself. You have to be truly connected. And when we take action and when we take bold action, that's when we're training ourselves, and that's when we're integrating that connection. That's when we're integrating that sense of authority. That's when we're integrating being the greatest version of us. And this is when we get tested, when we truly get tested by people around us, because people are going to have opinions, people are going to criticize. There are going to be times when we fail. There are going to be times when we don't meet our expectations. There's going to be all these times when we look silly. There are going to be times when no one's perfect. So think about it. Everyone is going to fuck up in their life at some point. Everyone is going to fuck up. Now, the more that you're going for it in life, the more that you're challenging yourself, the more that you're striving for, the more you're going to fuck up. It's logical. So the thing about life is it's not about not fucking up. Life is about going for it and staying connected so that when we do fuck up, we know that there's a learning there and we know that we're doing it with all of our spirit. We're bringing everything to it. So it's really standing in our authority and really energetically, even using your body, physically using your body and going, fucking, I'm going to own this. I'm using my physiology, I'm using all of my strength, and I'm drawing upon me feeling truly internally connected and guided by my spirit to go for this. And when we're aligned, look out. We will get there 10 times faster, 10 times more elegantly and more gracefully than if we're in our head, analyzing it, second guessing ourselves, rather than being truly connected with our heart space. So that's the master skill that every single human being needs to learn. It needs to master, it needs to cultivate. It's a skill. And unfortunately, it's not really a skill that many people are teaching. It's not really a skill that we get taught. It doesn't even get really taught in personal development. It doesn't get taught in seminars. A lot of the stuff that we get taught is a lot of the principles, a lot of the intellectual stuff, not the embodiment of true connection to our soul, to our spirit, bringing this forward. And this is a skill that, and again, to be honest, for me, a lot of my life, I didn't have that true connection. I didn't even have awareness that that thing even existed as a concept. So if you don't even know that the ego and spirit exists, then it all just infuses into one, and the experience that you're having is just chaos. Whereas when you have the distinction between specifically where the ego is playing out, where we're out of alignment with self, where we have artificial layers of conditioning and stuff that's not us, that's playing out, it's so disempowering. It's to be stuck in that world. So when you enter the world of awareness of spirit and ego, we now have conscious awareness about both of those programs. We can now be aware of them as they arise, and we can now take control over that. So this is a really powerful concept. And if you haven't yet tuned in to the details and the intricacies of the ego, it's a friggin' game changer, because you're now aware of all the programming as it's arising in your experience, all the resistance and judgment and fear. When you become aware of that, you can overpower it, and you have an override switch to stay connected to self. So I trust this resonates, guys. This is a little bit different than the topic that I usually present on, but I've decided it's time to start sharing more of this, because this, at the core of it, is the master skill that if you're wanting to be truly elite, if you're wanting to be next level in terms of entrepreneurship, business, professional human being, consciousness, expansion, wanting to accelerate your personal evolution, this is the skill that's going to accelerate that more so than any other skill you can ever possibly learn. I guarantee you that. And I've done a lot of personal development. I've done a lot of learning. I've studied a lot of shit. And I got to tell you, this is it. Connection to self. This is the most important ingredient. This is the most important master skill that every single person, once they master this, and there's so much to this. If I was going to share all the distinctions and all the power in and around this, it would be a 5-day training course just to distill and just to capture what I'm actually sharing with you. So this is only going to resonate on the level that it does for you. And I'm going to be building out content. I'm going to be building out modules. I'm going to be building out awarenesses around this. And I believe this is the most powerful concept in personal development that I have access to. And I'm looking forward to sharing more of this with you guys on the journey. And you'll start to notice more of my connection, more of this passion, more of this heart space resonance, less of this, less being caught up in the head, and more feeling like I'm guided and I'm tuned in to stemming from a place of spirit. And this is really powerful. This is so important. And I'm excited to be sharing more of this with you guys. Let us know if you have any questions, guys. Dora, Jenny, love to answer any questions if you've got any questions. This is something I've only just dropped in, and there's so much to this. This is a huge chunk of content, and I'm just sort of giving you some of the nuggets that I believe are really important to start with. So, mini recap, guys. We've got to stand in our authority. We need to be truly authentically connected to ourselves. We need to become aware of the ego. When the ego is operating, we need to become aware of the spirit. Hey, Luke, good to see you here, mate. When we become aware of that, we can now cultivate and develop and enhance that connection with ourselves. And we need to focus that and hone it by being aware. We need to develop the skill of present state awareness, which is being truly connected in the moment, totally heart space engrossed in our experience, not distracted, not worrying about what are we going to do for dinner or what's that person thinking of me. Truly tuned in the moment and present to what is unfolding within us, but present to what within us that is unfolding. So we need to have awareness of the programs and awareness of some of the systems that are going on within us in terms of the ego and limiting beliefs and fears and things like judgment and resistance. We need to be aware of all those so that when we are present, we're now present to what's unfolding rather than just being present to I'm having an experience. We're now present to be able to dissect and see, well, what part of my experience am I present to? Hey, Luke. Yeah, what part of my experience am I present to? This is when it becomes really powerful. So I'm going to finish it up there, guys. This is going to be a short. I'm not even sure how long I've been speaking for. When I get into it, I don't know how long I've been speaking for. But I'm coming from a place of connection, and I'm just sharing with you. This is raw. I didn't rehearse this. This isn't. I can't even. To be honest, I'm just tuned in. I didn't remember what I just said just then. So this is the power of connection. This is the power of presence and awareness. Looking forward to sharing more of this model with you guys as I go on the journey. Looking forward to hearing your comments, your feedback. I'd love to hear what you guys think of this. And I look forward to sharing some more of this with you on the next Transformation Tuesday. Wishing you guys a fantastic week. I'll see you all soon. Bye for now. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Lots of love.